Yo, 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 yo. Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is Marcus Rosa, aka Mazuma TV, back at y'all with some more boxing talk, man. Back at y'all with another live, man. Shout out to the nation and the mob for making this possible, man. We on the road to 3K, man. We well into the 2K mark. Shout out to the nation and the mob for making this possible. We got some things that we currently need to discuss currently going on in the boxing world, man. We're going to speak about the Jack Catterall fight with Josh Taylor, man. Jack Catterall getting his revenge. You see what I'm saying? That we're going to talk about Sebastian Fundora successfully ducking Terence Crawford and what that means for the 154-pound division, man. Shout out to everybody that's in the building, man. Shout out to the boy Chris. What up? What up? Coffee Plant. What up? Stop Motion. What's going on? Slime. My boy Slime. What up? Mark D. Bay. What up? What up? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, definitely smash the like button as soon as you come in, man. I'm extremely thankful for everybody that's been consistently supporting the channel and has been putting the channel on to other people, man. It's making a huge difference in my viewership, my subscriber count, man. I didn't make an entire video this whole day today because I was out, getting some things. Then I had an amateur event to attend to and stuff like that. But I went from, let me see. I'll tell you guys right now. Let me see. I gained 13 subscribers in one day, man. So that's letting me know that, obviously I'm doing something right. They appreciating the content and the real always prevails. You feel what I'm saying? So shout out to everybody that's in the building. Rudy G's, what up? Boxing Film. I don't know if I shouted out Boxing Film already, but that's the second time. Boxing Film, what up? You see what I mean? Yo, Slime, you out of pocket for that De La Hoya comment. Nah, man, it was a pretty good day for me. At least I hope y'all had a good day as well. I was out for an amateur show. Me and my team had to split up. We had one fight over in Reading, PA. Shout out to Tatiana Frey, getting her second round knockout in her second amateur bout. She's currently 2-0 with one knockout. You know what I'm saying? We also had a kid by the name of Christian Cordero that we call CJ. The judges didn't see it in his favor. However, he did put on a good performance, and it was an action-packed fight. And for his first fight, man, he's going to do absolutely phenomenal. Like, the way that he was able to perform under them lights in his first bout, acting like he's essentially been there before, extremely impressive. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he grows from this situation. You know what I mean? And I had one of my guys that I personally train. His name is Isaiah Berry. Like 3 weeks ago, he had gotten a knockout. You know what I'm saying? He got a second round knockout, and we was looking to keep the momentum going forward, and he absolutely did it, man. He got another third round stoppage. You know what I'm saying? He got another knockout. That's 2 knockouts in a row for Isaiah Berry. I believe his 3rd or 4th knockout overall in the amateurs. You know what I mean? It's pretty hard to get knockouts in the amateurs. So when you're doing that, it absolutely means that you're doing the right things. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy with how the way the team's growing, how the way we've been winning. And, that's just what it is, man. You see what I mean? So shout out to the mob for doing anything under the lights today. And, we gonna keep building. We're gonna keep building. We're gonna keep growing. We're gonna keep racking these wins up and showing these people that we belong. Shout out to the boy Teach in the building. What up? What up? Equip, what's going on? Yeah. Let's get into some conversations, man. We got 20 people in the building, man. Hit the like button as soon as you come in. You see what I mean? We got some things that we need to discuss. We're gonna talk about this Jack Catterall versus Josh Taylor fight. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, these guys have a history and they do not like each other at all. You see what I mean? We got 19 people in the building with 11 likes. Let's get the likes up. Congratulations to Jack Catterall. You see what I'm saying? Catterall absolutely got his revenge against Josh Taylor. Like I said, obviously, them dudes do not like each other at all. It was definitely some bad blood, some shoving. You know what I mean? Definitely putting hands on each other in the lead up to the fight. And, Jack Catterall feel like he got robbed in the first fight against Josh Taylor. I thought that he did enough to pull out the decision against Josh Taylor. And I believe that fight right there was the beginning of the end in terms of I think that was the beginning of the decline for Josh Taylor, in all honesty, man. Josh Taylor was the best 140-pound fighter at the world at one point in time. It was absolutely shining. I don't know what led to his downfall. I know that he's picked up some injuries. I don't know if it had that much of an effect on his career. But 2019 Josh Taylor and 2024 Josh Taylor is 2 totally different Josh Taylors, in my opinion, man. I think that version of Josh Taylor back in 2019 would have made easy work out of Jack Catterall. But obviously, he stumbled along the way. I don't know what it is. And he looks like a shell of himself, man. I don't know if I'm, jumping the gun or just overreacting to the situation. But Jack Catterall doesn't seem. I mean, Josh Taylor doesn't seem like himself, and Jack Catterall took advantage of it. I did see that there was two cars that had it 117, 111, and Bob Aaron spoke about him being unsatisfied with those two scorecards. I do think that's a little bit far fetched because for those of y'all who don't know, that's 9 rounds to 3. So they only gave Josh Taylor 3 rounds. I don't know how you guys assess the fight, but I do think it was a little bit closer than that. But I do think at the end of the day, the right guy won the fight based off of what I've seen. You know what I mean? I did fall asleep. I wasn't able to watch it live. I was just catching up on some rest after the amateur show, whatever. But I did get to watch it shortly afterwards. You know what I mean? And that's just my overall take on the situation. I think the right guy won. That's important because Jack Catterall, I think he got fucked over in the other fight. But Josh Taylor, he put on a strong effort. He did what he could, but there was a lot of mistakes he made in that fight that I think genuinely cost him. You see what I mean? So, yeah, Coffee Plant says Taylor landed more punches. Jack landed the harder punches, and that's the thing. It's not necessarily you outlanding a motherfucker in the pros. You know what I mean? It's about who's landing the harder, more effective shots. You know what I mean? And if I'm boxing with somebody and I throw 8 punches and let's say I land 8 punches on an opponent in like a combination that I throw, but that person happens to land 3 sharp ones that actually get my attention, hurt me, drop me, whatever the situation is. If it has more of an effect on me than those 8 punches I threw had an effect on my opponent, the judges are going to gravitate towards they're going to gravitate more towards the harder, cleaner shots. You know what I'm saying? They sitting there and they watching your body language. They sitting there and they analyzing how you able to take one of those shots. And if you look like you having a hard time, dealing with the punching power of somebody, if they land a significant shot that knocks you off balance, you could be working the whole time. You could be winning around, but if I was to get hit with a shot and I don't respond well to it and it look like I'm out on my feet, whatever the situation is, or my whole energy switch up, it could give that guy the round. You see what I mean? That's how it works in the pros. And the amateurs is a little bit more of just like who's outworking who's staying more consistent with the punch output. But in the pros, it's really about quality. You know what I'm saying? So that might have been the very reason why Catterall won the fight. And yeah, man. So congratulations to Jack Catterall. Josh Taylor felt like he edged it out a little bit. I disagree with that, but regardless, that's how he feels. And he's looking to make a trilogy. However, we're going to speak about whether the trilogy is something that Jack Catterall should consider or not. Shout out to my boy Chris with the $2 super chat. He says, hit the like button. I'm going to stuff y'all in my smoker. Yeah, that's wild. Chris out here wilding, but y'all get the point, man. You know what I'm saying? Hit the like button as soon as you come in. We got 23 people in the building with only 14 likes. Let's get the likes all the way up. My boy Slime says he kept eating overhand lefts to the muffin. Yeah, and I seen one of them shots it definitely had caught, definitely rocked Josh Taylor. He was able to weather the storm or whatever. But regardless, yeah, it was a good fight, man. It was a good fight. I just think that both of those guys stylistically, every time they fight, they're gonna give you a good scrap. You know what I mean? Styles make fights, and if you put two styles in front of each other that work well together, you're gonna have some exciting fights. Mark D. Bay, shout out to Mark D. Bay. He says Catterall should have been undisputed. I hate how they robbed him of that. I agree with you. You know what I'm saying? He definitely should have been, in that situation where he could have been an undisputed champion at 140 pounds. But unfortunately, man, the politics of boxing sometimes, intercepts what's right for boxing. You feel what I mean? I'm not sitting here pointing fingers like judges, specifically wanted Josh Taylor to win or Josh Taylor in the judges' pockets. I'm not going to make those type of accusations, but sometimes, for some reason, we could see a fight and be totally convinced on who actually won the fight, why they won the fight. You know what I'm saying? We could go down each round and pick out, and we could pick out the rounds that we felt like the guy won. If the judges see it another way, you know what I mean? It's very hard to dispute that. You know what I mean? It's been very rare if somebody disputed a judge decision and they actually overturned it. You know what I'm saying? So it do suck. You know, Jack Catterall should have definitely been in that situation where he was a big playmaker and the 140-pound division, but he was fucked over. You know what I'm saying? So he ain't gonna be the last person. He not gonna be the first person to get done wrong by the sport of boxing. He ain't gonna be the last one, bro. That's just a sport that we in, unfortunately. You feel what I mean? Sean Terrence says, "Do you think Spence should go toe to toe with Fundora or outbox him on the back foot?" That's actually a good question, man. Earl Spence has had a tendency lately of, coming forward, trying to assert himself and ultimately break guys. It's worked in some situations. It's hurt him in some situations. Specifically with Terence Crawford, I think that approach of trying to break Terence Crawford and trying to just bring the fight to him, coming in reckless, I think that ultimately cost him the fight, and that's why he took a lot of damage that he could have easily avoided. I think that Earl Spence, we got to see what version of Earl Spence we gonna have at this weight class. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, he might feel better because he's adding on an additional 7 pounds. He can put some muscle on. You know what I mean? The weight cut not gonna be as difficult. And every time he's fought at 47, he's made weight. So I don't think he'll have any problem making 154 pounds. You feel what I mean? So I think that's gonna help him out. I think that by the time he fights Sebastian Fundora, they're saying in October he'll have a year plus of recovery time since the Terence Crawford fight. So to say exactly, it's going August, September, October. So it's going to be a year and 3 months that he'll have. You know what I'm saying? Since the Terence Crawford fight, I think that's plenty of time to recover. Now the problem is, you could be recovered, but are you going to be the same? Are you going to be able to take a shot the same? It's going to be an interesting stylistic matchup. I think that's going to be a war. I think that Earl Spence is going to come forward. You know what I mean? He doesn't really like fighting on the back foot to keep it 1,000 with you. He likes to let his hands go. He likes to place his body shots, and he likes to push people going backwards. And Sebastian Fundora, he fought a more smart fight against Tim Tszyu in his last bout, just keeping him, constantly letting his hands go, keeping him on the outside and shit like that. But for the most part, he's a come forward guy who doesn't have the best defense, and he'll take 2 shots to land one. That's just the type dude that Sebastian Fundora has been throughout his career. Now with this being a southpaw versus southpaw type of fight, how is Sebastian Fundora going to be able to adjust to this? You know what I'm saying? Earl Spence fought a southpaw in his last bout. Terence Crawford, somebody who switches, and he didn't do too well. And prior to that, Earl Spence doesn't have much experience with southpaw, so it's going to be an interesting stylistic matchup. If he sit, and both of these guys got a lot of grit. That's what I'm looking forward to, because I seen the fight with Fundora and Lubin live, and I was like, yo, this dude Fundora's grit, his determination, like his willingness to win, his dog is different. And Earl Spence, we already know, like, he was over here disputing the stoppage after Terence Crawford, and he was getting the dog shit beat out of him. So, both of these guys don't like to take no for an answer. They'll do whatever they need to in order to win, and they won't stop until that bell ring. Like, it ain't over until it's over with them. So I'm looking forward to that, man. I want to see exactly what Sebastian Fundora's game plan is. I think I already got an idea of what Earl Spence's game plan is. I think that he'll be the same person he's always been. Somebody who jabs first, fundamentally sound, and he's definitely going to the body. You know what I'm saying? But is Earl Spence going to be able to close that gap against Sebastian Fundora if he takes the tall approach like he did with Tim Tszyu? It's going to be interesting to see. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, I think it's going to be in the center of the ring. I do think that, Sebastian Fundora, and this is another exciting thing about both of these dudes. They're both high output guys. I think when Earl Spence fought Mikey Garcia, he threw over 1,000 punches in 12 rounds. Sebastian Fundora, he's constantly letting his hands go. So this is Fundora got 0 pop. That's true. That might be true, Coffee Plant. But what makes Fundora dangerous is that he's constantly letting his hands go, and accumulation is a son of a bitch. You feel me? So, he might not be the one dude where he crack you and then you go to sleep type shit. However, he's a dude that keeps chipping away until your body cannot physically take it anymore. And it starts to how can I say this? It starts to deteriorate you mentally. You start doubting yourself. You start feeling the effects of the constant punches that are being landed, or even if it touches your arms, even if it touches your shoulder, chest, body, face, you start to feel the effects of it. Like I don't know if you guys ever sparred before, but I've been in the ring with guys who were big punchers, You know what I'm saying? And they could hit you on the shoulder. They might not be able to touch you up top because I always had like sound defense and shit like that. You know what I mean? But like eventually they start touching the shoulders, you know, touching the elbows and shit like that. You better believe after that session over, bro, and the adrenaline start wearing down, you know, the next day you're gonna feel that shit. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna feel that shit all around here, bro. It has an effect on you. You feel what I mean? So we also gotta see exactly where Earl Spencer's punch resistance is. Like I said, he took a lot of punishment against Terence Crawford. So we don't know if his ability to take a punch is still the same. I've seen dudes take ass whoopings, right? And these guys were sturdy dudes, like could take a punch, you know, aggressive, durable. But you know, they had one bad fight, and all of a sudden, they chin not holding up how it used to. Now, I'm not over here doubting Earl Spence at all. I'm just not knowing. You know what I'm saying? And boxing is a sport where you have to constantly answer questions, especially if you face adversity in your previous bout, especially if you're coming off of a loss. There's some questions that's at the table that you have to answer each and every time you step in the ring. That's just what it is. I'm not psychic, you know what I'm saying? I can't really tell you exactly how shit gonna go, but based off of their styles and what I've seen previously, this is gonna be a dog fight. This is gonna be a war. And this on some real shit, bro. This might be a fight of the year candidate, especially to close out the year. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what I personally think about it. Um, if we talking about experience, you know, we might have to edge that out to Earl Spence, but he's going into a totally different weight class against a 6'5", 6'6", 154. That's a fucking southpaw. You see what I mean? So, well, we gonna see exactly what's gonna happen to him. If this was the older version of Earl Spence, like you know, the one that fought, you know, guys like Lamont Peterson and shit like that, I'm favoring Earl Spence all the way. But I'm not gonna sit here and act like he ain't been through some shit since then that I think have taken away from his abilities. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm definitely tuned in, and I'm gonna have to see some media workouts. I gotta see who Earl Spence's new trainer is. There's a lot of shit that needs to come out to the light before I could really give you a confident answer on who's gonna win this fight. You know what I'm saying? You said Spence gonna beat the body, no Diddy. Nah, I feel you. I mean, he ain't got no choice for real. You know what I mean? You gotta chop the tree till that motherfucker fall. You know what I'm saying? So you know, it's a lot of questions around Earl. You know what I mean? We know what Sebastian Fundora gonna do now. Is Earl Spence gonna rise to the occasion? Do he still has enough left in the tank in order to defeat somebody with a difficult style like Sebastian Fundora? You feel what I'm saying? Shout out to the boy Sam Seals. He says, salute from West Australia by the way of East Oakland. God damn, we getting love from Australia, man. Shout out to the boy Sam Seals for showing love, man. I appreciate it very much. You know what I'm saying? Chop the tree is crazy. I mean, I guess that's a pause. I think that's a little bit of a reach. You know what I'm saying? That's a metaphor we use in boxing gyms in Philly. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers say chop that tree, put water in the basement, whatever the hell you want to call it. That typically means to go to the body. You feel what I mean? L741L. He says that fight came out of nowhere. I mean, if you're referring to the Earl Spencer Sebastian Fundora fight, kinda, you know what I mean? Kinda, but you know, I knew something was up as soon as PBC and them allowed Earl Spence to come into the ring after the Sebastian Fundora fight, because we were all under the impression that Terence Crawford was going to be next because he put in like a petition to be the mandatory for the winner of the WBO title. You know, Fundora won it, but for some reason Earl Spence was in the ring and he was talking about, yeah, like he's next and all that. So he must have definitely had some conversations with Al Heyman, PBC and them, and they pretty much lined it up for him to happen. And you know, it's PBC versus PBC under a PBC card, so they keeping things in house. They trying to keep the money together. And you know, and it's a good fight. I'm not gonna say or act like it's not, but I do think that Terence Crawford was more deserving of the opportunity. But thank God for Turkey Al-Sheikh because he came through clutch for Terence Crawford and put him in position to win a world title. You feel me? So it is what it is. I guess it worked out for everybody. You know, Terence Crawford wasn't left in the dark. He about to fight for the WBA. You know, Earl Spence, not left in the dark. He's about to fight for the WBC. But what comes with that is Sebastian Fundora having to either be stripped of the WBO or him having to relinquish the WBO. And either way you look at it, man, it's a duck. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely a duck. I don't really care what anybody got to say about it. You know, it's just me being honest. If you have a mandatory in front of you and if you're willing to vacate that title or relinquish it in order not to fight them, When you have obligations as a world champion, it's a duck. And I knew that they were acting funny with Terence Crawford and shit like that because they put this man on a 6-month medical suspension. And as a matter of fact, let's check this out right here. Let's see if the math is mathing real quick. Hold on. So Sebastian Fundora fought Tim Tszyu back in March, right? April, May, June, July, August, September. Okay, so the man, it does add up. You know what I mean? So they say he'll be clear to fight in September, I believe. It actually says, according to BoxRec, that he will be suspended until September 27th, which will be just in time for the Earl Spence fight. You feel what I mean? So they was doing this 6-month medical suspension, but they wasn't too clear on exactly what the injury was. We did see that he was bleeding out of his nose pretty heavily from the Tim Tszyu fight, so it may have easily been a broken nose. You know what I mean? But 6-month medical suspension, and guys like Samson Lukowicz, who's his promoter, not really being too descriptive of exactly what caused a half-a-year suspension. I think it was pretty funny money, man. I think they did that strategically in order to like hold Terence Crawford out and discourage him for continuing to go the WBO route. And I guess it worked out because he went the WBA route instead. He's fighting in August instead of having to wait until September. My boy Chris said if Earl new trainer is Joshua Fabia, I don't know who that is. Chris. I'm jumping in my own smoker. That's crazy. Really, Spence getting a title shot after a knockout loss is crazy. Yo, Mark, I said the same thing, but we really got to think about this. Sebastian Fundora did the same shit. Sebastian Fundora got knocked out by Brian Mendoza. Knocked out. Bad. And I understand it was a late-minute substitute, but regardless, he still got the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Because it was supposed to be Keith Thurman tore his bicep, whatever the situation is. So Sebastian Fundora stepped up. But even then, he was going to fight for the WBC any fucking way. He was going to fight Bohachuk for the WBC title anyway. You feel me? So he got knocked out. He didn't make no type of tune-ups or anything like that. Jumped right into the smoke, got a world title shot. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, a lot of these dudes get rewarded, man, for losses. It's crazy. I've seen people lose so many fights, but continuously get opportunities. Like one of the dudes that I noticed, in all honesty, is Terrell Goucher. You know what I mean? Every big fight that essentially he's been in, he's lost. But he's about to fight Carlos Adames for the WBC middleweight title of the world. And I don't even know if Terrell Goucher has any fights at middleweight. So let me check. I don't want to be ignorant or come across like I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. He actually fought at a catch weight of 60, but that was literally his only fight. He's only had one fight. He did an 8-rounder at 160, and all of a sudden he's fighting for the world title at 160. He didn't even do a 12-round bout. He did no title eliminators, anything like that. And the dude he fought had like a journeyman type record, 23-8. You feel me? Rolly Romero is another good example. Mark, you thinking with me, brother. He says Rolly set the trend. He got a title shot after getting knocked out by Tank. It must be a PBC thing. But one thing PBC always going to do is put their guys in position. That's why a lot of they fighters don't really speak out against them, or you never really hear fighters talk crazy about Al. You always hear they be thanking Al in the same breath that they thank God in. I would like to thank God for this victory. You know, I would like to thank Al Heyman for giving me the chance to showcase my talent. And like, he gets a lot of love, man. You know what I mean? And it's because he puts them in position and he takes care of them financially. You feel what I mean? That's why these guys not really tripping about having 1-2 year layoffs. You feel what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, they getting paid. You know what I'm saying? So they could really give a fuck if they not fighting because they taking care of. A lot of these dudes are motivated strictly due to poverty and just not being in the best situation financially. A lot of these dudes are satisfied, their belly's full, so they're not really in no rush to get back. You know what I mean? They'll sit back, chill, wait their opportunity, and whenever that another bag comes to the table, they come and they take it. You don't hear Danny Garcia complaining about being inactive. You don't really you heard Keith Thurman say a little bit of things like that, but prior to that, he was turning down fights with no hesitation. You know what I'm saying? The list goes on and on and on and on. You feel what I mean? Like Rashidi Ellis, he doing Team Combat League. He with PBC, I believe, or he just left PBC. I'm sorry. Let me try to find a better example. There's plenty of dudes that been inactive, but they not really tripping. Abner Mares, he about to. I think that he was supposed to be fighting sometime soon, but regardless, he's sitting there commentating. He don't give a fuck. He getting checks. He had that detached rating or whatever the situation was, and he been cool. You feel me? Equip FC says, who got beat worse, Devin or Spence? Spence definitely got his ass whooped worse than Devin did. And the reason why I can honestly say that is because even though Devin was getting dropped and all that shit, Devin was still winning rounds. You know what I mean? Like past the first round, Earl Spence had no chance. They looked like they was in two totally different realms. Remember, Mike, hold on real quick. You said what? You said, what's up, Mark? Am I on the block list? My account name is The Stranger. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna look at. I'll check I'll check the block list, and if you are on there, I will remove you, my brother. My apologies for that. I hope you didn't say nothing stupid for any of the guys that hit you with a wrench, because nobody really be acting up all like that on here. So, it is what it is. I'm gonna definitely check though. Who would have won, Tank or Abner? Come on, man. Tank would have put Abner in a body bag. He would have had nothing for Tank. No power to get Tank respect, skill set, none of that. That would have been a washing for sure. But to go back to this question right here, Quip, Devin was still winning rounds. I think that Devin won every round he didn't get knocked down in. That's just my personal opinion. And it was a split decision, so did he take punishment against Ryan? Yeah. You know what I mean? But Spence was literally, but the only thing that, was really getting the dead was that left hook. With Spence, he was getting hit with every fucking thing, the uppercuts, the jab, like the body shots. He was getting hurt to the body, hurt to the head. Spence, and they left him in there way too long in comparison to what they should have. At least, Devin had enough in him to at least make it to the 12th round. Spence would have seriously gotten hurt. Definitely his life would have been on the line if he would have somehow got to the 12th round. It was that type of beating, a totally different beating. You feel me? So, yeah, Spence definitely took more damage than Dev. But Dev got hit with some shit too. You know what I'm saying? They said, when we remember, Mike says, when will we hear of Ryan Garcia's consequences? I do think, from what I understand, they got to sit down with the Nevada State Athletic Commission, I think sometime in the summer, from what I understood. So that's sometime soon. The summer is approaching. We almost there. So they should be sitting down, and they need to make an example out of him, man. Like if it's some shit, the bottom, Rudy G's, that's a beautiful comment right there. He says, bottom line, cheating doesn't count. That's a fact. But in regards to like the damage Devin Haney took, we can't really disregard that. You know what I mean? I don't give Ryan any credit for the win. You know what I mean? I do think that his purse from that fight needs to be taken. I think that he needs to be suspended for multiple years, like I said. And I think that a loss needs to be on his record. We got to make examples out of these dudes. These no contest, bro, motherfuckers don't learn shit off of no contest. That's pretty much just like, it's not, you don't even see it on the record. You know what I mean? It'll just look like, he never fought Dev. You feel me? Put that L on his record. And when they go and check BoxRec to see why he lost to Dev, they need to put it in the description. Like these things need to be done. Like these motherfuckers, I feel like steroid motherfuckers should be held accountable for being steroid cheats. That shit should live with them for the rest of their career. Like the motherfuckers on Megan's Law. If you know, you know. You feel me? That shit should carry with them everywhere they go. You said, is that what happened? That's real? I heard Ryan say something about that, but I never even heard about that prior to Ryan saying that. Is that true? If so, that's sad, man. Boxing Film says dudes don't care when they catch 6-month ban. They only fight once or twice a year. 6 months is their vacation time. That's a fact, Boxing Film. That's exactly what I said. I think they gave Canelo Alvarez a 6-month suspension. I'm like, bro, the motherfucker fights in May and September, bro. It don't matter, bro. Like this, he gonna take 6 months off anyway. As soon as he stop fight, as soon as he get that fight done in September, October, November, December, January, February, March, and then he'll be fighting 2 months afterwards. It's not really it's not a, it's not a punishment for real. I know in the back of their mind, they like, shit. 1 year is not 1 year is not even a proper punishment because there's some dudes that only fight once a year any fucking way. He needs to be suspended for multiple years. I think 5 years is a good amount of time to suspend somebody for being a first time drug cheat. Second time, pack the fuck up, get the fuck up out of boxing. You feel me? And it's not like Ryan Garcia broke anyway. He be all right. He told y'all. He said, man, like he's so arrogant. He like, oh, it's your loss, not mine. So he don't even consider being a drug cheat an L for him. So that lets you know where his morals at. He don't give a fuck, bro. You know what I'm saying? Frequent flyer, what up? Remember Mike? He says, do you think the whole Garcia Haney cheating thing will have an effect on the culture of boxing? I've never seen so much fans defend a cheater. Will this be more common now? I think that this is a rare situation, in all honesty, but I think that the reason why these fans are defending a cheater is one, they have a strange obsession, some type of fantasies with Ryan Garcia, or they have a deep-rooted hatred for Devin Haney. And I think it's a little bit of both, in all honesty. I think a lot of these dudes are attracted to Ryan Garcia. They're very conflicted inside. You know what I mean? It seems like they're not heterosexuals. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a little bit of that. And I think that, they hate the Haneys, bro. They hate the Haneys. Because I think, in all honesty, if this would have happened to Gervonta Davis, this would be an outrage right now. What if it was a situation where Tank gets washed by Ryan, right? Let's say hypothetically that happened. Do you think that they'll be defending Ryan Garcia then? I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? If Ryan would have did that to anybody else, I think there would have been more of an outrage. You feel what I mean? Because they didn't even run the Canelo defense all like that. And Canelo has one of the most loyal fan bases. Like, you call them crazy, dumb, whatever. They some of the most loyal motherfuckers in this world, Canelo fans. And they ripped him. They cooked him, bro. You feel what I mean? Ryan, little to no criticism. I'm one of very few channels that's coming on here and holding Ryan Garcia accountable. I'm one of the only channels on YouTube right now that's held Alicia Baumgartner accountable because she just had to drop a bathing suit picture and motherfuckers forgot she was a drug cheat. You know what I mean? They over here salivating, liking her pictures and, you know what I'm saying? Just really disregarding shit. You know what I mean? So a lot of these dudes, they not really boxing fans, bro. Because if you're a boxing fan, you're a fan of the word that comes first in that, in that state, in that sentence right there. Boxing. These dudes are fans of the individual. They don't care about maintaining the integrity of the sport. They don't care about what's right and what's wrong. They just rocking what they got. And they don't give a fuck how they got to do it as long as they do it. And that's just what it is. You feel what I mean? So they definitely, Rudy, they definitely need more harsh penalties. I agree with you 1,000%. I think that they really need I think they really need to, set an example out of him. If they willing to do it to this popular fighter right here, imagine what they'll do to a motherfucker that's coming up. Fighters need to be scared, man. Fighters need to be scared because they looking at shit right now and they be like, oh, these dudes ain't even facing no real consequences for it. Like Valdez, he tested positive and they still let him fight. They still let him fight, bro. When he fought out in Arizona, positive drug test. They still allowed him to fight. Remember Mike says, is the Moa interview locked in officially? We were supposed to do it today, but I think he just got caught up at the gym or whatever. He hasn't gotten back to me. But that's definitely in the works. I've been communicating with Mo, and so whenever he gets the time to reach back, you know what I mean? We definitely gonna lock that in. You feel me? So yeah, we sometimes you gotta be patient because a lot of these motherfuckers busy, man. And that's just what it is. You feel me? Coffee Plant says, are you concerned of what Rolly posted the other day? Can he come back? What did he post? I haven't heard anything from Rolly since he got stopped, bro. So I he's been pretty quiet for the most part. I seen him go live and he was trying to like, act like shit was cool or whatever. Let me see exactly what Rolly put in. Look like Rolly in Cancun right now. Don't look like he really tripping about anything. He was saying like he depressed. I mean, that's normal. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're a professional fighter, and you confident, you at an all-time high with the shits, and you get put on this big platform to perform and then you get done that way, man, it makes you question a lot of things. You feel me? It makes you question a lot of things. Uh, if his team is on point, if he's training properly, when you expect a lot out of yourself or when you hold yourself to a high standard and you come up short like that, it could fuck with your head, bro. Rolly Romero is this like comedic type dude. He be clowning, he be trolling and all that, but at the end of the day, he's a regular person, just like you and me. He's been able to get to where he's gotten to because he's driven. You know what I'm saying? You don't get that high at anything in life if you're not driven or you expect like a lot out of yourself. I'm sure Rolly trained his ass off for this fight. I'm sure he was confident going in. He felt like he had a chance. He thought he had what it took, but obviously it didn't go that way. You know what I mean? So, and maybe, and I'm not even, I think it's pretty, I'm not gonna say dumb, but I think it's pretty selfish to just assume as a boxing fan that he's depressed because of boxing. It might be some other shit that's going on in his life. You know what I'm saying? That is making him feel that way. But regardless, as long as he's aware he's depressed and he's willing to make the efforts possible to get through it, he should be all right. There's a lot of people that's depressed that don't know it and then just continue to crumble, continue to deteriorate. You know what I mean? But as long as he's aware of self, um, and he's willing to make the changes necessary, keeping himself busy, uh, prioritizing his happiness, prioritizing his mental health. He probably won't do it because a lot of men steer clear from therapy, but therapy can make an effect, can have a positive effect on you as well. Spend time with his family, weigh his options on what's important to him, what he wants to do with life, and he should be all right, man. Life is an ongoing battle. It's a roller coaster, man. You could be on a high one day and then be at your all time low the next day. But that's what makes life. I'm not gonna. What I'm gonna say is that's what makes life life. You know what I'm saying? If you just at a time, if you were just happy all the time and everything is just so positive, it's like there's nothing really to be excited about, or there's nothing that's really going to build your character. That's life. I wish Rolly the best, and hopefully, he finds happiness within himself and his life sometime soon. And I don't even fuck with Rolly, but at the end of the day, I don't wish nothing bad on that man. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't wish nothing bad on him at all. I hope that he do what he needs to do in order to be straight for himself and his family. I don't know if he got kids, but obviously if he has kids as well, man, you gotta keep your sanity for your kids, man. So I wish the best for Rolly. You feel me? How come Golden Boy Oscar been quiet? Because he got a nice little check off of that Munguia fight. You know what I'm saying? So he ain't really tripping right now. I don't know if Golden Boy got any fight dates coming up. I know that I think like Floyd Schofield is fighting that H2O dude sometime soon. I don't know. Oscar just probably playing it low key, man. He don't really got nothing to really talk too much about or promote right now. So, a lot of these dudes don't really talk unless they got something in front of them. You feel me? So, highs and lows of life can get real crazy. That's a fact. And I'm not gonna sit here and assume that he's depressed because of boxing. He probably got some real life shit going on. We don't know what people be going through behind the scenes, bro. People got their own shit that they gotta go through. Maybe he having trouble with his love life. Maybe he having trouble with his family. Probably somebody's not doing well health wise around him. He might have. It could be so many things, bro. But regardless of what it is, he in Cancun right now. He relaxing. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, that'll give him some time to mentally recharge. Sometimes we need that as people too. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a workaholic, bro. I'm constantly working. I'm constantly doing things. I don't stay still. But when I went to Puerto Rico for 4 days, not too long ago, like about a month ago, it's about to be a month. I didn't know how much I needed it until I was there. I felt good, man. Because I'm constantly working, so I don't really be knowing when to chill, when to stop. But when I sat there and I was just enjoying my time, and I just put the phone down or whatever, bro, it made me feel real good about. I came back to Philly feeling refreshed for sure. Why does Al not do interviews? Well, he's been a private figure for a very long time. I don't know. Maybe that's just his preference. I don't know exactly what he got going on. Maybe he's just not a fan of it. Even on like Google and shit like that, when you look up his name and stuff like that, there's not even many pictures of him online. So this dude just he a hidden figure. He likes his privacy, and you know, he's all about business, man. He not one of them dudes that want to be all up in the cameras and shit like that. You know what I mean? Maybe that's just the type dude he is. I don't know. You know, I'm sure if he wanted camera time, I'm sure they would have gave it to him. But I tell you what though, the day that this motherfucker, if he ever does an interview out, that interview gonna break the internet for sure. Whoever is able to solidify an interview with Al Heyman, bro, if he ever does one, I don't know if he ever does one, but if he does one, that shit is gonna break the internet. I'm telling you. And whoever the fuck actually gets the opportunity to conduct that interview, they goaded. He the greatest boxing reporter of all time. Because this dude, Al, we don't even know what his voice sound like. Us, like me and you. I've seen Al Heyman call people, but Al Heyman, he calls you from private numbers. So when somebody calls or whatever, whenever he calls or whatever, and like I've been around promoters that have gotten calls from Al Heyman and shit like that, and they'll say like, you know, no caller ID and shit like that. They're like, oh, it's Al. You feel me? And then they'll go step aside and talk to him or whatever. But that's just how private Al is. You know what I'm saying? He don't really want to be in the mix. He don't really want nobody knowing his business, and he moves accordingly. You don't know what he looked like. You just got Googling, bro. And there's a video where like Virgil Hunter was doing an interview with Al Heyman, walked past him, shook his hand, like on the camera, just kept it moving. He was with Sam Watson, I believe. So Floyd Mayweather, he got a video of him complaining to Al, and Al came up to him. It was like, you know, talking to him and shit. But there's very little footage or photos of Al for sure. Do he be watching the fights in person? Early on in Floyd's career, the HBO days, Al used to be in the crowd, but you know, I don't know why. Maybe because he just want to avoid people at all costs. I think he just be watching like to himself and shit like that. He probably be in the building. He probably just be watching from a TV screen or something. Who fucking knows? But Al, yeah, Mark says Al is a living ghost. Yeah, bro. That motherfucker like Batman. You feel me? So that's just what it is, man. Shout out to Al Heyman though. He one of the greatest businessmen to ever step in the world of boxing. And he was goated as a businessman way before boxing. You know what I'm saying? From what I understand, he was the one that was behind the Thriller tour for Michael Jackson. He was behind the Raw tour with Eddie Murphy and shit like that. Like Al Heyman is different. You know what I'm saying? He conquered the music industry before he stepped in the boxing ring. Well, not step in the boxing ring, but before he stepped into the boxing world. That's why guys like Drake said, Al Heyman checks off of all of my events. I hardly do percents and all that shit like that. So Al Heyman is well respected, bro. You know what I mean? And he's a big reason why he is the reason why Floyd is as successful as he was in his career. He's the reason why a lot of these dudes like Earl Spence have been able to get where they needed to go. You know what I mean? Gervonta Davis, like he's responsible for a lot of these dudes currently being some of the faces of boxing. You feel me? So that's just what it is, man. Shout out to the boy Al Heyman. You feel me? Yeah, that's just what it is, man. So yeah. So let's I mean we spoke about Jack Catterall getting his revenge against Josh Taylor. Spoke about Sebastian Fundora ducking Terence Crawford. You know what I mean? I don't see how you could say that he didn't duck Terence Crawford. I seen people running the Sebastian Fundora aid. I didn't even know the motherfucker had fans like that running to his just caping for him. I mean, they probably just Terence Crawford haters or whatever. It is what it is. Terence Crawford got a lot of haters as well. I ain't gonna sit here and lie to you. You know what I mean? So you know, bro, if you got a WBO world title and that man is petitioning to be your mandatory, you get word of that, and y'all doing shit like, you know, trying to get rematches with Tim Tszyu, but you know, Turkey Al-Sheikh took that opportunity away from him. Trying to get rematches with Tim Tszyu, and you know, you contemplating the Earl Spence fight. All of a sudden, y'all got all these options. Y'all willing to give up the belt in order to go pursue those other options. That's a duck for me. You know what I'm saying? Because where I'm from, they say all call-outs is mandatory. Terence Crawford was licking his chops trying to get that fight. And best believe Terence Crawford would have fought Sebastian Fundora He would have stopped his ass. Facts. Unless this motherfucker Terence Crawford get old overnight, ain't no way he'll lose to Sebastian Fundora. That would be a washing for sure. You feel me? So, we spoke a little bit about that. How many people in the building right now? We got 22 people in the building. Let me check the likes real quick. Let's see if the likes is where they need to be. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we got 23 likes in the building. It is very much appreciated. Mark says Tim Zoo deserves a rematch overall. Tim was about to knock that boy out. Yeah, Tim had a lot of success, bro. Like he was killing Sebastian Fundora with the lead right hand, just killing him. You know what I'm saying? But I do think that cut on the top of his head, and I'm gonna just say this too: that whoever his cut man was needs to never, ever be a cut man again. That cut man is the reason why Tim Zoo lost that fight. I think that, and there was some things that Tim Zoo did wrong in the fight, like just boxing on the outside, just being content, being at the end of Sebastian Fundora's punches. However, I do think that with all the blood that was covering his eyes, I think that it was a real big distraction. And I think that cut really hindered his focus on his game plan. You feel me? Because Tim Zoo knows just as much as I do. He got a lot more experience than me. I've never had a pro fight. He's had several. He's won a world title. He knows damn well he shouldn't be boxing no Sebastian Fundora, a 6'5", 6'6" motherfucker from the outside and thinking they're going to be successful. You're not that type of fighter. You're not a slick out boxer. You know what I'm saying? And even if you was, I don't think you're getting past Sebastian Fundora's reach. I do think that cut that continued to pour down from an elbow from Sebastian Fundora really fucked with his approach for the rest of the fight. Prior to that, he was timing Fundora with the right hand, busting him up, and broke Sebastian Fundora's nose early. I think that if he didn't have that cut, I think that he still would have been able to, maneuver pretty well. And I think that he would have been successful against Sebastian Fundora. So I do agree with you, Mark, that he deserves the rematch. But I guess Turkey Al-Sheikh shot Tim Zoo a number that he couldn't refuse against Virgil Ortiz, which is a fucking lit ass fight, bro. Jesus Christ. When Tim Zoo say that he an old school fighter, bro, he living it. You know what I'm saying? Like he giving you examples. He's showing and proving. To go from a loss to a Virgil Ortiz fight, who's a very dangerous fighter, I don't know how that's gonna go. Eat a dick, weirdo. That's how I be talking to these dudes. And I talk like that in person if you ever want to see me. You feel me? And I talk like that in person. It'd be so funny because when people see me in person and they say they recognize me off YouTube and shit, there's never a single negative word they say to me. But they be so tough on the internet. But yeah, Tim Zoo, let me see. L says, can't see any cut, man, stopping a hole that big. You be surprised, my brother. You'd be surprised. If you ask any other cut man who has a lot of experience, they would tell you that cut could have been stopped. When I was watching this dude, or the cut man, the man was literally putting a swab on the cut, putting a big ass thick piece of Vaseline across it, and was allowing Tim Zoo to continue fighting. He didn't do what was necessary in order to stop that blood from bleeding. Stop that cut from bleeding. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Where was the adrenaline? I've seen worse cuts be handled, whether it was under the eye, under the cheek. Bro, I've seen it all. Like, I've been a part of the corner. I feel like the main thing that you really can't stop once it happens is like a broken orbital bone. And that's because that's not blood that's filling that orbital bone, like that, the swelling, that's fluid. So that's not going to be able to be moved or things like that. But, I've seen worse cuts get handled for sure. Chad Gibbs, he says, Badu Jack's forehead cut was nasty. Yeah, hell yeah. There wasn't no stopping that. That needed to be stitched up. And yeah, they should have stopped that fight immediately. immediately. There was no way Badu Jack should have kept fighting after that. You know what I'm saying? That man lost a lot of blood. You said Fundora could beat Crawford. He took Tim's power punch as well. I disagree with that. I think that Terence Crawford is a sharper puncher than Tim Tszyu. And what I mean is they're quicker. You know what I mean? They get to the point faster. And I think that he's a more accurate puncher. I think he'll be able to put the shots in the right places that'll ultimately break Fundora down. And in all honesty, Tim Tszyu wasn't able to land. He was just getting started when that cut happened. And it seemed like after that, it seemed like he didn't have like the same focus. It didn't look like he had the same, um, momentum going forward after that. I think that Terence Crawford, he might not be like a bigger puncher than Tim Tszyu. I don't even know that. I don't even know that because he's gotten all knockouts at welterweight. Nobody has made it the distance with him at welterweight. So I think that he's a sharper puncher. I think he would stop Fundora. Honestly, that's just me being real. I think he'll stop Fundora. Fundora is not responsible enough defensively to, weather the storm from Terence. He might have took 10 power punches as well, but what if Crawford hitting him with a shot he don't see? Is he gonna be able to take that well? I don't know. But the Tim Tszyu fight should have been stopped. You know what I'm saying? No cut, no victory for Fundora, in my opinion. I agree with you. But the thing is, we'll never know. You know what I mean? We just speculating at this point. Who fucking knows? But I do think the cut had a really big part, and I think that his corner ultimately fucked up his opportunity. I think his corner is the reason why he lost his O. That's just what I think. My fault, y'all. I had to get some text messages out the way. Remember, Mike says, "What is a fight Turkey hasn't put on yet that you would like to see? One that's realistic." I think with the money that Turkey Al Sheikh puts out there, I think that a lot of these fights are realistic. You know what I'm saying? I know Turkey Al Sheikh has shot this one down, unfortunately, but I would have loved to have seen Benavidez Canelo. Would have loved to have seen that one for all the belts. I wanted to see David Benavidez ultimately get the chance to shine at super middleweight, but unfortunately, that's not going to happen. Once Better Beef recovers, uh, once Better Beef recovers from this injury he sustained during training camp, I want to see Better Beef versus Bivol. Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua, the battle of Usyk's sons. I would love to see that. um, if Wilder is successful against Zhang, because this is a make or break for Wilder. If he loses to Zhang, it's over. He's never going to get a title shot again. That's just my opinion. I would like to see Wilder and Usyk. I think that's a different style for Usyk to take on, and it's a style that he really can't afford to make a mistake against. You feel what I mean? I think that's a dangerous fight for Usyk. I would like to see, bro, take down all the top three heavyweights, bro. Wilder, Fury, Joshua. You know what I'm saying? Because them three was on top of the game for a while. So if Usyk is able to do that, then that would just go on to prove that like he's all-time great material, first ballot Hall of Famer. In my opinion, he's pound for pound number one right now. No disrespect to Terence Crawford. I would much rather give that status to Terence Crawford, but I can't deny what Usyk did. You feel what I mean? So it is what it is, man. If Wilder loses to Zhang, I believe he retires. I mean, I think he should. You know what I mean? Because I think that any other time, if Wilder went up against him, I think he would have beat him. If he loses to Zhang, especially if he loses in devastating fashion, I wouldn't really care to see that fight. You know what I'm saying? Wilder loses to Zhang, I believe he retired. He should. He should, man. This is make a break for him. Definitely make a break for him. But if he destroys Zhang and he looks anything like himself, I need to see him up against Usyk. I need to see it. But they also talk. I completely forgot about the Jared Anderson matchup that they're supposed to be putting together as well. I think that if Wilder knocks out Zhang or he dominates Zhang or he just gets him out there first round type shit, I don't know if Jared Anderson gonna step. I ain't gonna lie to you. He might fall back from that. Usyk really accomplished boxing. I think you meant to say everything in boxing. There's no more belts to collect. I mean, yeah, that's part of being undisputed. So what you have to do moving forward, if you don't retire, is defend your crowns. Defend your crown, because you're the king right now of the heavyweight division. Nobody else in the heavyweight division could say that they're a legitimate world champion except you. So how do you go about this? You gotta continue winning, and if not, you could just ride off into the sunset and said you did it. But I don't know exactly how old Usyk is right now. Let me check it out. Let me check how old Usyk is right now. Oh, he's 37 years old. Okay, he's 37 years old, so he's in his late 30s. He's at a point where he's pretty old to be an athlete, especially in boxing. That's a pretty old age. But he don't look like he's showing any signs of slowing down. So with that being known, it's like it's really up to him. I mean, obviously, Fury he just activated his rematch clause. So he has something that he has obligations in October to fulfill. If he defeats Tyson Fury again, then what's next? Do you want to take on Wilder? Do you want to ride off into the sunset undefeated? You know what I'm saying? Being a two-time undisputed world champion. He has options. He has options. Shit, he could retire right now if he wants to, for real, for real. Jalil Hackett is with Matchroom now. Yeah, we were speaking about that. I was looking at that not too long ago, and I'm just happy that Jalil Hackett got himself up out of that situation. And it's so crazy because, like, I swear, like, 2 days before he had left Mayweather Promotions, I was questioning what was going on with him. I was on live right here, right now, talking to y'all. And I was saying, like, yo, what's Mayweather Promotions doing with Jalil Hackett? What's going on with Joanne Ingram? What's going on with all these dudes? You know what I'm saying? Because they got a history of losing fighters. I told you guys. They lost Richardson Hitchens. They lost Savannah Marshall. There's a few fighters that completely walked away from Mayweather Promotions. Andrew Tabiti. I'm sure there's some that's not coming off the dome right now. But regardless, I was wondering what was going on with Jalil Hackett. He gets up out of that situation, immediately signs with Matchroom. I think that's a great move for him. Eddie Hearn is one of the hottest promoters in the game right now, as much as I don't want to admit it. I can't lie to you. Kevin Johnson, yeah, I don't really rate Kevin Johnson how I rate the other guys. You know what I'm saying? But, that's still an example. You feel me? So, Eddie Hearn, keeping fighters active, putting them on big stages to showcase their talents, and he takes care of them financially. So, and the thing about Eddie Hearn is that he approaches the business with little to no ego. A lot of these promoters, they don't really want to fuck with you unless you sign a long-term deal with them. Eddie Hearn is cool with signing a long-term deal with you, but he's also cool with doing a partnership with you. He's cool with doing one-fight deals with you. He just wants to be a part of these fighters' business. You know what I mean? A lot of these dudes, they don't really want to fuck with you unless you tied with them for a certain amount of time. Eddie Hearn don't give a fuck. He was like, bro, like, all right, I'll take this little bit of bread from this situation. I'll do a long-term deal with him right here. Like, there's multiple avenues with Eddie Hearn. He's not closed off to and just stuck on, one route of business. He diversifies it for the most part. And that's why a lot of people gravitating towards him. You know what I'm saying? Like, Canelo ain't signed no long-term deal with Eddie Hearn, but he still rock with Eddie Hearn, and him and Eddie be getting money together. You feel me? When Mikey Garcia was still around, he was conducting business with Eddie Hearn, you know what I mean? Getting to the money. You feel me? It's a lot of people. It's a lot of people. Devin Haney, they got a partnership. He don't care where Devin Haney go. You know what I'm saying? They got to understand it, and because they do good business, they always go back to Eddie. So it is what it is. You heard Alicia Bumgarner talking about Ern with Hearn. Like he giving them good bread. He giving them good opportunities. He keeping them active. Who wouldn't want to rock with Eddie Hearn right now? Chad says Eddie and Oscar are on top right now. Oscar? I mean, Oscar, he got Ryan Garcia. You know what I'm saying? Oscar's been making some big fights with Ryan. He got Jaime Munguia. They just cashed out on that Canelo Alvarez situation. So I see where you're coming from. You know, Oscar definitely having some moments. Yeah, I see that. I see that. But you know, it's so crazy. I feel like back in 2023, I seen in 2023 that like PBC snapped all 2023. You know what I'm saying? And people seem to forget about it. They seem to forget about that shit, bro. They was snapping the whole year. They was dominating the whole year. And you know, now that we like well into 2024, people act like PBC down bad or they ain't shit. Bro, they still around. They still one of the biggest networks in boxing. They gonna make some shit happen, trust me. But I was speaking about Floyd Mayweather and shit like that, and how he losing all his fighters, bro. Joanne Ingram has been on social media talking about free me. You know what I'm saying? Free me. And you know, it's sad that all these fighters, you know, they grow up loving Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean? They feel like they in a dream and shit. They signing with Floyd Mayweather, and they think that because they signed with Floyd that they good. But you know, I guess they starting to understand that everything that glitters ain't gold over at TMC. I've been hearing about this shit for years about how fighters are mistreated, not getting opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Struggling. You know what I mean? To stay up financially. You know, moving to Las Vegas and just waiting for opportunity and a lot of empty promises, bro. I've been seeing that shit, man, and I hope Joanne Ingram frees himself from out of that deal. And I knew shit was bad when this dude was on Floyd Mayweather's exhibition undercards and he was doing exhibitions himself. I'm like, bro, you're at the beginning of your career, bro. Why the fuck are you doing exhibitions? Was it not sanctioned? Like what was the situation? I don't really understand why you're doing an exhibition when you should be building your career. Exhibitions, you could do that shit at the end of your career. You know what I'm saying? Like you could do like Floyd Mayweather, he at the end of his career doing exhibitions. Manny Pacquiao open and doing exhibitions because he's at the end of his career. I'll be seeing Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. I've been seeing him do exhibitions. I've seen Eric Morales, a bunch of people. But what they all have in common is they're no longer boxing. You feel me? Mike Tyson, Roy Jones. Why is a kid at the beginning of his career? This dude is young. Joanne Ingram is easily in his early 20s. Why is he participating in exhibitions? That's when I knew they wasn't moving with him correctly, and I knew it was a matter of time before, people were going to start getting, unsatisfied. You feel me? But yeah, man, that's essentially what's going on with Mayweather Promotions, and that's what it is. Only people Oscar recently signed is Kenneth Sims and Charles Conwell. Charles Conwell is a good pickup. Yeah, I mean Kenneth Sims is also a good pickup. I think Kenneth Sims is very underrated, especially what he did to Elvis Rodriguez. You feel what I'm saying? Chad Gibbs says, where does Shakur sign next after Top Rank? I mean, I don't know if Shakur is going to necessarily sign with somebody right away. From what I understand, he said he's going to weigh his options. He's going to say who has the best deal. But if I'm Shakur Stevenson, man, I'm getting a good lawyer and I'm doing my own promotion. I feel like when you're at the certain point that Shakur Stevenson is, that man is a 3-division world champion. He's well known. He's recognized amongst the top boxers in the sport. What do you necessarily need a promoter for? You know what I'm saying? What do you need? What do you need to sign? Why do you need to sit down and have somebody take control over your career when you could easily do it on your own? You see guys like Devin Haney having partnerships and still moving. He can go wherever the fuck he want. You want to be in that position where you're not tied to no network, you're not tied to no promoter, and essentially nobody really has to tell you what the fuck to do. You feel me? Yeah, Conwell. Yeah, he caught one. Subarel caught one. Sergey Kovalev caught one. A lot of these dudes caught one. Unfortunately, man, it's sad. You know what I mean? And I heard that really got the Conwell. I heard that really messed him up. You know what I mean? So, he's still a dangerous fighter, still a good fighter nonetheless. You feel me? I try to look past that shit. He can't control what happened. You in a sport that sanctions violence. So, little things like this is gonna happen. Not little things, but these things are gonna happen. And you just gotta continue moving forward. Boxing is the most dangerous sport in the world. I agree with you. It's also the most difficult sport in the world, according to ESPN. But what was it? What I was saying? I'm just getting a good lawyer. You know what I'm saying? I heard Mike Tyson say this one time. He said, "Bro, just get a lawyer and a what the fuck he said? A lawyer and a." He said, "You don't need a manager. You don't need a promoter. Just get a good lawyer." And I understood exactly what he was saying. You know what I mean? Shakur, he don't really need to tie himself down with nobody, man. If he want to do a partnership with some Eddie Hearn type shit, then he could. You know what I mean? He should be looking for partnerships at the most. Shakur Stevenson should be starting his own promotional company and just working for himself. Move on your own terms. You sit down at the table when you discussing purses and, but always give people a listen though. You know what I'm saying? Always give people opportunities to shoot their deals at you. You know what I'm saying? You might get an offer you won't refuse. You know what I'm saying? So let's see. You said Matchroom like Boots Ennis? Yeah, they signed a partnership with Boots. You know what I'm saying? And the beautiful thing about Boots' situation is, and I spoke about it. I had a video talking about the 3 reasons why signing with Matchroom was a good deal for Boots. I said how they're gonna keep him active because when he was, collabing with PBC, it was a hard time getting him fights. So activity is one thing. Eddie Hearn has a good relationship with Turkey Al-Sheikh, so they could put Boots in position to get some big fights in the welterweight division, like Conor Ben. That'll be a good fight. Turkey Al-Sheikh is interested. He could put a bag up for Crawford and Boots. And the other reason was because, it's a partnership, you know what I mean? And it's going to be under Boots Promotion. It's going to be in association with Boots Promotion. So he's going to be getting the promoter check as much as the fighter check. You know what I mean? And he's going to be able to put his up and coming fighters from his stable on his cards as well. So that's dope to see, man. He got Ismail Muhammad. I think it's Ishmael Muhammad. And I think he just signed another kid from Philadelphia that's talented as well. I think his name is Dennis Thompson, who's going to be debuting on that card in Philadelphia as well at the Wells Fargo. Huge opportunity. You feel me? Remember, Mike said Shakur can't be his own boss. He's awful at business moves and doesn't know when to shut the fuck up. That's why Top Rank has his card right now and wasting him on another free Thursday night. Well, Shakur's fighting on a Thursday from what on a Saturday from what I understand, but I get what you're saying. I do think that Shakur needs a publicist to maintain a good image with him. And I think that Shakur shouldn't be that accessible to interviews at this point. And if he does do interviews, then there needs to be a certain guideline that he needs to follow and just keep it like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I think Shakur shoots himself in the foot with a lot of things he says. And, it seems like he really don't care. And it's doing more harm than good. You know what I mean? When you at this point in your career, maintaining a good image could put you with some great opportunities. I understand you got the Reebok deal and you got some good things going on. However, there might have been some endorsement deals that you may have possibly missed out on due to how the way you're carrying yourself. You know what I'm saying? At the most with Shakur, good lawyer, manager. You don't need a promoter. You don't need a promoter, bro. That's what the manager is there for. The manager is there to, make sure you're getting the most money possible for the best opportunity possible. And the lawyer is there to read the paperwork to make sure you're not getting fucked over. A good lawyer is essential to, every fighter, especially when they sign in big deals or, like long-term deals and shit like that. It's good to have a lawyer to know that's able to read the fine print and understand the wording that's in the contract, because a lot of these dudes that are uneducated, they get fucked over when signing contracts because they're not really knowing what they're reading. You feel me? There's a lot of slick shit that's in contracts that if you overlook it, could be ultimately why you in a fucked up situation. If Boots fight Conor Ben, does it have to be in Orlando? I don't know. I don't know. Was Conor Benn's last fight in Orlando? Let me see. I know that one of the fights he had was in Orlando, but was his last fight in Orlando? I know it was in the States for sure, because he's not allowed to fight in the UK at this point in time. Let's check it out. No, his last fight was in Las Vegas. So I don't believe he's limited to Orlando at all. I think he's free to fight all over the states for real. For real. I just think that in the UK they haven't Conor Ben and his team haven't went through like the necessary protocol in order for him to, you know, be able to fight over there. So they like, all right, you don't want to follow this protocol, you just not gonna fight here. You know what I'm saying? They're real stern over there. It seems like so. The states is where Conor Ben is gonna have to settle for until he gets that situation right. You think that he's gonna be able to survive the full 12 with boots? I don't think so. I disagree with you, my brother. I think even when you watch that Pete Dobson fight, Pete Dobson had landed some good shots on Conor Ben that if Boots would have landed them, he wouldn't have gotten up. You feel what I mean? Pete Dobson is extremely slow. You know what I'm saying? He had power, but and he was tough, come forward, aggressive. He was walking down Conor Ben the majority of the fight. But I do think that Boots got a lot more speed than Pete Dobson. I think he's a bigger puncher than Pete Dobson. Quicker overall, better timing. I think that he would have clipped Conor Ben. I don't see Conor Ben getting out of 7 rounds with Boots. I don't think he makes it into the championship rounds with Boots. I'll be surprised if he does. But Conor Ben got skills, though. He's fast, explosive. I do think that his power has changed significantly since the failed drug test. I don't know if that's coincidental or he's just been up against some tough opponents with sturdy chins. But regardless, he got skills. He got skills. He could beat some dudes, but Boots, nah. That Ukrainian guy survived the full 12 just using footwork. You got to understand that Ukrainian guy, Kareem, whatever his name was in complete survival mode. You see what I mean? And yeah, he was just using footwork, a lot of mobility. It's Conor Ben's style built like that, where he could use his legs for 12 rounds to get around Boots Ennis. That's not his style. You know what I'm saying? That's not his style. He's a come forward, aggressive fighter that likes to play on his feet and punch. That Ukrainian guy that you're referring to had the ability to move and attempt to box for 12 rounds. That's not within Conor Ben's arsenal. That's not his style. You know what I'm saying? So just because you see this man utilize that game plan doesn't mean that Conor Ben has the tools necessary in order to follow through with that same game plan. You feel what I mean? I think that Conor Ben, he's just not set up that way. Now, we talking about a guy like Guillermo Rigondeaux or Erislandy Lara, you know what I mean? One of those like Sandor Martin type motherfuckers, then yeah, they could follow through with that type of game plan. You feel what I mean? But Conor Ben, he's not built like that. That's not who he is. He's not a slick, mobile outboxer fighter. That's what I mean? He is who he is. He's not gonna be able to change his whole style within one training camp and come out successful in it. I don't think that's gonna happen. And even then, that Ukrainian guy lost every round. So like, yeah, he was able to make it and survive the full 12. But how many of those rounds out of 12 did he win? You know what I mean? But all right, y'all. I appreciate everybody that came through and showed love to the live today, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I got my son asleep in the other room right now, so I'm gonna be calling in the night very soon. If you can hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel if you appreciate what you're seeing. I'll be very thankful for you doing so. You know what I'm saying? Uh, so I'm tired. You know what I mean? I'm mumbling all over the place. I'm rambling. So shout out to everybody that's in the building that's showing us love, man. We well into the 2K mark. We on the road to 3K. And this wouldn't be possible without you guys, man. If y'all guys can hit the like button on the way out, it is very much appreciated. Shout out to Teach, Ralph. Shout out to Chad Gibbs for contributing to the conversation. Rogers the second. Remember Mike. everybody that's in the building, man. But until then, I'm gonna get up out of here. Shout out to the nation and the mob for making this possible. You feel what I mean? I hope you have a blessed, beautiful night. I'm out of here, man. Peace.